coaches. How are you today? Welcome to Positive Coaching Alliance. We're going to get started initially. I understand there's Kelly here, Coach Kelly here, and Coach Spencer's here. Welcome. I am Shay Wilson, and I'm going to bring to you today Double Go Coaching, Positive Coaching Alliance first. So let's get out your cell phones. I want you to get credit for this, and let's sign in. So we're going to text this number, 650-763-2405. And we're going to include all the number. Hashtag, okay, and the numbers behind it. Your first name, last name, and your email address. We want you to get credit. This also helps us to track it. We also put you in the database all across the country and connect you with other coaches. So if you get time, please let me know when you get this. Raise your hand. It's this. All right. Awesome. All right. I'm excited for you guys to be here. Let's present this workshop to you. So, how many people know what Double Go Coaching is? Coaching for winning excellence. Hi, Ruben.
Hi, Shay. Sorry to be joining late.
Oh, that's okay. It's okay. Let me practice this. Let's see what you got. Okay, who is PCA? This is what PCA is, Positive Coaching Alliance. It's 80,000 coaches trained by PCA. Over 3.3 million youth reached. There's over 2,500 live workshops done, and there's over 1 million plus visits to the website. So why are we still doing it? Because we want to change the culture of coaching. So what is positive coaching? Positive coaching. What does the phrase mean to you? So let's get into a group and everybody, so we can introduce each other, so you guys can get to know each other. I think there's 3 of you guys. Let's just get together and talk to each other. Introduce yourself and answer the question, what does this phrase mean to you? Positive coaching. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that.
All right, we'll talk back and forth.
Uh-huh. All right, talking back and forth. What does this phrase mean to you? Back and forth. All right. So, Ruben, I'm going to toss this ball to you. And there you go. And so I'll give you, let's see, down the field. What does the phrase positive coaching mean to
you? Encouraging kids. Mm-hmm. Encouraging kids, seeing, focusing on the stuff that they're doing right, as opposed to all the stuff, the mistakes and the stuff that they're not good at yet.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Kelly, let me toss this to you. There you go. Nice catch. Nice catch.
We talked about in our group that positive coaching is just a coach that's really encouraging, that cares a lot about the players outside of the field and outside of the sport, and just has a good vibe going at practice. The kids are having fun, they're learning, but they're actually excited to be there.
Awesome. I love it. And so the other thing, what we're going to say is that creating an atmosphere that supports the best possible performance. I was raised with coaches that were yelling, screaming, doing everything, and you were halfway afraid most of the time of making a mistake, and you really couldn't. I don't think you could be your best because you were being yelled at most of the time. So one of the things that we go into with Positive Coaching Alliance is talking about what Dr. Barbara Fredrickson said, what are the research behind what it means, the power of being positive. Spencer, can you read for me, please, the quote by Dr. Barbara Fredrickson?
Hold on, let me pull it up. Oh, where'd it go?
Sorry.
There's a perception that the best way to get what you want out of employees or players is by negativity or threats. But negativity doesn't work as well as positivity. Positive emotions are especially contagious, and a leader's positive emotions are more contagious than anyone else's.
I love that. Can you go to the next one too and look at Study After Study? Read that one by Alex Wolff.
Study after study shows the benefits of a more positive approach.
So, and when you think about that, coaches, what do you think about what they're saying there? Do you agree with that? Do you disagree with what those quotes say? Let's go. Anybody want to answer? Want to share?
I agree. Yeah.
Hey,
I think positive works better.
I think it's more fun. I don't know if it always gets the players to hustle as much as I want them to, but I think it's a lot more fun.
I absolutely agree. It is a lot more fun to get encouragement and be more in a positive environment than to be yelled at, I think. So Positive Coaching Alliance has a number of elite coaches on the advisory committee. If you can look at the slide, do you recognize any of these coaches?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. All these coaches agree with you. Players and coaches agree with you. So what does negativity do? What does negativity do? Let's see. Spence, I'm going to toss it to you. What does negativity do?
Negativity makes people uncomfortable and distracts from what they're trying to do.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Absolutely. One of the things I thought that negative, and I remember running down the court and I'd made a mistake and I hear my coach yelling at me and I'm looking at the coach trying to understand what he wants me to do as a point guard. And I look back on those days and it's like, I'm totally not in the moment at all. I'm too busy trying to understand what coach is trying to tell me to do or what I didn't do on the other end. And I realized that it absolutely takes you out of the moment. It took me out of the moment. And then I was kind of frustrated with myself for making a mistake. So I believe that when you look at it, it says the mind keeps your mind in the moment. It doesn't distract you if you can be positive through it from your task. And I felt like it distracted me. When I look back, when I was a kid, you're just trying to listen to coach and please the coach as much as you possibly can. But looking at it, back on it and going through this Positive Coaching Alliance course, I realized that I absolutely was not in the moment, and how many times I've done that to kids that I've been coaching now and trying to change that and practice a different way. Anybody agree? Anybody had anything that you could see that you've either done it to one of your players or you had the experience yourself coming up as a player? Anybody want to answer that? Take your time. You can think about it.
Well, I know I was the kind of athlete that responded better to positive. I don't know if everybody is, but I always struggled when I got yelled at by a coach, and I can't think of a single time where getting yelled at made me play better.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Anybody else?
I had a coach in high school, and that's how she coached. She just yelled at us, and I wouldn't necessarily say that it made me nervous in the moment, but I was really focused. So, I was trying to stay focused on what I was doing because I didn't want to get yelled at. So it wasn't really the right way to do it, but I felt like at some time she did get the best out of me because I was scared to death of her that I was going to screw up.
Sorry about that, guys. It's my doggy's ball. And she's getting up right now. One of the things I realized is that I didn't touch on is that we think that the negativity, some of us have been super successful with our negative way of coaching. And I think the only way I knew of coaches were coaches that were very aggressive, that pushed you to the limit and were almost verbally abusive, right on the cusp of that. But I realize now that it can work, but it can also work better to where kids can master this. And that's where Positive Coaching Alliance comes in, is that showing a better way, maybe a new improved way. I think some of you guys may feel like, well, you know what? My way has worked. I've got a couple of championships, state championships with the way I've done it. However, have you looked at the long-term effects of your coaching style? How's it look? I had a coach tell me that out of all the years and then coming into PCA and listening and then changing, realizing that the damage that was done to kids, years of coaching them, and yes, you did win, but there's a destructive nature to the negative coaching work. Bobby Knight comes to mind for me as I go through the years of doing it. So questions. Okay. I want you guys. So let's get up for a little bit. Let's get back in our groups, and let's talk to each other a little bit. We want to make sure that this downloads, and we are hopefully enjoying each other with this or trying to learn. So do you agree positive works better? and negativity distraction. Why don't you have a few minutes to talk with each other and see? And if you have any examples, can you share with each other at least one that you may have used positivity or negativity that didn't work? Okay, thank you. All right.
And you want us to share where it did work or didn't work? I'm sorry.
It didn't work. That your negative coach distracted. Thank you for asking that, Kelly, because it was just like a confusing question. I'm just. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Just move on. I'm confused. I think it sounds like the same question you asked the last time. So I just think that's why I was confused.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
so let's go to the second
over that one. Yeah.
Let's go to the second question while you guys are in the group. Why is there so much negativity in sports?
That's a good question.
Thank you. It's right there, Sasha. I'm on it. Why is there so much negativity? Why do you guys, someone that catches the ball, any one of you guys tossing it, boom. Why is there so much negativity in sports?
Well, I think because most of us want to win, and when two teams play, one team wins, one team loses, and that losing team doesn't get what they set out to. It's frustrating. It's frustrating not to win and to lose, and we tend, when we get frustrated, I think we tend to point fingers and not take responsibility. It's not my fault we lost. You rotten kids can't play. It's not my son's fault that we lost the game. The coach doesn't know what he's doing. So I just think there's a lot of natural frustration that can be built into sports, and then you pour all the emotion on it, and it can turn into a lot of negativity.
Absolutely. Anyone else want to join in that? That was excellent. Thank you very much for sharing.
Throw me the ball, Coach.
I just think. Oh, go ahead. Spencer's got it.
I think part of it is that's the way things have always been done, so to speak. So a lot of people feel that, well, my coach yelled at me, so that's how I have to do it. And I'm not a good coach if I'm not tough on my players by yelling at them. Or also people think that being tough means that you have to yell.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree. Kelly, did you want to join in on that one? Did you have some on that?
I just think it's easier. I don't have to think about it when I yell. But if I actually have to try to be positive in a negative situation happening on the field, if I have to actually try to be positive, it takes a lot of work.
Wow. I like that. I think one of the things when you get deeper into the next section of Positive Coaching Alliance and PCA's philosophy, it actually makes us as coaches become better persons and better people as well. In order to do this, if your philosophy was to be negative before you came into Positive Coaching Alliance and you desire to change, it takes an effort for us to also practice how we respond to our kids, how we respond to ourselves, and of course, always bring it to our spouses. So one of the things about being a double goal coach is that we want to win. We want to win, but we also want to teach life lessons and character as well. So I think that really diving into this makes us, requires us as coaches to practice what we preach, and we have to practice it first in order to teach it. So I think it's pretty cool. I love the philosophy. I love the philosophy. So let me tell you something. PCA uses sports psychology research and the best practices to develop great coaches. Okay. Also, the theme: better people, better athletes, better people. Better athletes, better people. Better athletes, better people. I think I had two of these. I had these made, Kelly. So I'm
nice.
Yeah, I followed them. Like, okay, let's see. I'm not sure how far you want me to go with this, though.
I want you to go right up through to the first principle. So this is the second half of the intro right here. What makes a great youth experience for kids? Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys. So this is exciting. Okay. What makes a great youth experience for kids? What makes a great youth experience for kids? Anybody want to answer that?
Fun.
Fun. Yes. Yes. I love that. What else?
Improving. Winning.
Improving. Yes. Anybody else?
Friends.
Friends. Yes.
Getting to do physical things, being active and moving and exercising.
Awesome.
Bumping into other kids and
awesome. How about, and going on top of that would be feeling connected, team and coach, believing that you can improve, and feeling proud about acting with integrity. Your players get that. I'm looking at this one. So if your players get all three of these things, what might happen? What do you think would happen for them?
I think they're going to win.
They'll enjoy it more.
They'll enjoy it more, exactly.
Yeah, they're going to win more games too.
They win more games, exactly, because they're enjoying it, improving, and acting with integrity. And so this is one of the positive coaching model: being connected, feeling the emotional tank, improving with the elm tree of mastery, and integrity, honoring the game. We're going to. How many people know who Herm Edwards is?
Yeah. TV guy.
TV guy, exactly. He is a TV guy now. That's for sure. Thanks, Ruben. Understanding your legacy. So Coach Herm Edwards is one of the National Advisory Committee of PCA. He's also a former NFL player and an NFL coach. And can I get somebody to read his quote for me?
Kelly, can you put up the legacy quote?
Yep. There you go.
Sorry, guys.
When the book of your life is written, will it say that you made a difference?
Wow. That's pretty powerful. That's pretty. Would you say that you made a difference? Can anyone want to answer that one? Would you say you made a difference?
I hope it does.
Yeah, I know, right? Spencer's like, yeah, that's true. Guys, you guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. Just make sure. I would like to think that I would have made a difference. You know, that's I look at that quote and it just gives me chills because we handle so many young people, and we would like to think that we affected them in a positive manner. We pushed them in a way that they couldn't improve without us, and just leaving a legacy. So the double goal coaching, we talked about this. Remember, we are not here to lose. We're here to win. Every one of you guys are competitive. You want to win. You want to get in again. Look, we all want championship trophies. We don't care how we get them. No. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. But one of the things is that double goal coaching is striving to win and also teaching life lessons. That's what we want to do. We want to have our kids strive to win with teaching life lessons. And the principles of that are filling the emotional tank that looks like when the kids come in, the elm tree of mastery, and honoring the game. That's it.
That's it.
Oh,
and that's it. And then you go right into the first principle.
I'm sweating. I need to go back. Look, I'm looking at the film already, Kelly. I'm like, oh, I got to go back and get this in. I got to be in it to win it on this. It's hard to see you guys right there. If you guys were right here, I could just move my hands a lot.
I get it. I get it. You know what? First run through. Take a breath. Take a deep breath.
Kelly, I almost just went like verbatim with yours. I was like, okay, let me just do Kelly's words. And I was like,
well, you know what? I mean, my friend Joe Tarasi always says you got to know the trade before you know the tricks of the trade. So,
yeah.
You know, you can add to it.
Mm-hmm. Once I get
first, and then you can feel more comfortable.
Yes, you kind of breaking up. I did hear the end part of it.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's awesome. Okay, you guys.
So, Ruben, is this your first? This is your first time hearing Shay. Let's see what you some feedback you have for her.
Well, it's my first time hearing her since her wonderful audition.
Oh, that's right.
Shay, when you say I gotta be in it to win it. So what do you mean by that? What like the next time you do this, mm-hmm. what's going to be different in your approach? Or
for me, is the willingness to actually implement what it looks like to be positive with my kids. I think a lot of times we think that being aggressive is positive. And so to change it to how is it to get the best out of my kids to where they master it? So how am I teaching them to be teachers with it? How am I teaching them to, so explaining to them where they're talking back to me on how to do it, or I'm asking them the question and they're basically teaching me, almost like a partnership, even though they're little people or maybe bigger little people. But for me, when I say in it to win it, it means even for me to change my psychology, my thought processes on what it looks like to be a championship coach. And that's what I mean by in it to win it.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Shay. So one thing I heard you say is that you wanted them to teach you. So that means you got to ask a lot, right? you got to ask and give permission. So I really like that, Shay, because I think this opening section of the workshop, the way PCA has designed it, we've got to work really hard to pull their voices in constantly. And I like two things in this opening. I like a brisk pace in the opening, you know, because we want to get to the principles.
Right.
We want to get to the principles and tools. Okay, so I like a brisk pace, and I like the participants talking a lot. So, and so that leads to the phrase, which I'm sure you've heard, less is more.
Yes.
There's times when, you know, you don't try to do too much. You don't try to say too much. And quite honestly, Shay, I think that you got to get a little more comfortable with just kind of the flow. It felt to me like it. In fact, Shay, there were a couple times where you clicked the slide and you read the header aloud, because because the PowerPoint is meant to be in part meant to guide us as trainers and help us stay on track in this organic workshop where we can get off track very easily, and we're going to go, you know. So my one suggestion there is go ahead and use the PowerPoint as a guide, but when you click the slide, give yourself and give the participants a second to take a look at the slide. So for example, you click positive coaching. What does it mean to you? Go ahead and read that, and you can even say it to yourself, but say it silently.
Okay.
Not aloud. Does that make sense, Shay?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Were you aware that you had done that?
One time I did. I was like, okay.
Okay. There were, I don't know, there were 2 or 3 or 4 slides where as soon as the slide clicked, you read and you were talking to yourself aloud, I think.
About right.
So, but let me sum up, and then I'll be done, and then I'll shut up. I think Shay, your wonderful, dynamic, engaging personality, that's always there. I mean, look at God. I just love that smile. That's always there, and it was there again today. And I do think, even though I said less is more, I did like that in places you did sprinkle a little bit of your own experience. You brought your own experience to the content, which is important as well. So, okay, Kelly, I think I used up all my time.
Thanks, Ruben.
Thanks, Ruben.
Spencer, how about you?
Remember, less is more, Ruben.
Yeah, I think just I think kind of doubling off what Ruben was saying though, and just thinking of the workshops that I saw. I've seen 4 workshops in the last couple weeks, and that's just kind of the common theme. Is I think everyone has sort of a tendency to, kind of read off the PowerPoint a little too much. And it's easy to do that, and I'm sure I would do the same thing. But I think it's just making sure it's as engaging as possible in the workshop. So getting them talking early, I think that's really important. And that I've seen at least in the workshops I've always been to, the ones where there is a lot of conversation and a lot of engagement early on in the workshop, and there's a good pace established. It's for everyone better, it really just sets up a good, people feel like they're engaged and they're paying attention all the way through, and it's really easy for it to go another way, and everyone's got their phones out and people aren't paying attention or whatever. So yeah, that beginning is definitely important, and making sure that they don't feel like they're being talked at, but kind of talked to. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Spencer.
Yeah, thanks, Spencer. So, Shay, I think you are right where you should be right now. I think, this is the first time you've done this, and I expect you the first time you've done this to do a little more reading of slides than you will be when you're doing it, 2 or 3 times down the road. I think it's tough for you guys. I think there's a fine balance between like, I want to make sure Kelly and Ruben know I'm doing the right thing, but then you also want to bring your own personality into it.
Right.
So, the other thing is you're a super positive, you just like positivity just flows out of you. So I think the push for positivity is you, not necessarily what the information is. I think the coaches in the workshop are going to feel from you, how do you motivate your athletes? You can just tell. I can just tell how you would be at a practice. I would love my kids to play for you. So reading off the stats, like this slide that's up here, the who is PCA slide, I don't even read that. I mean, look at all those, who is PCA? Here's who we are if you don't know who we are. I just think you are more important to this workshop. Your examples, I would like to hear early on an example from you. You asked us twice, give me an example of negativity, and you mentioned it. And I like the way you said at one point, most of the time I was afraid to make a mistake. And you talked about being a point guard. Okay, put a little more color around that story.
Okay.
When I was playing for University of, wherever you went to college, my coach's name was Coach Jones, and he did that. If you can color up a story, color up a story in the beginning of a workshop, that can be more impactful as to what a coach did to you as a player and what was going through your mind. Okay. Rather than, hear stories from us too. Hear stories from the coaches, but I think a good, strong story about that can make a big point. Okay. And it was at that moment when you became a coach that you realized there were devastating effects. There were long-term effects. Did that coach motivate you? Yeah, of course he did. He screamed at you. Fear is a great motivator. But then when you transitioned into the long-term effects of it, and you said it really well, some coaches are successful, but there's a better way. There are long-term effects of negativity. So I think just taking that message, you kind of scattered it throughout a couple different slides, and we're kind of throwing in some of those here and there. I think if you just make that message really concise, based on your experience, that's going to be really impactful and powerful. Awesome. And I think that's where Ruben might've been talking about less is more. Cause it was like, you're making the point and then going back to the slides and then making the point and then throwing in a story. And then, so I just think that tightening that up a little bit is going to be huge for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
I like that a lot. Also just a couple little tips too. Be careful. And I know you'll probably do this in a workshop and there's only 3 of us. That's why you did it. But I always say, be careful cold calling on somebody to read out loud. I always ask, I always just ask, like, can somebody read this for me? Because if Spencer can't read or can't speak English, then you've got him on the spot. Like, I can't read. So just always ask, like, if somebody, a volunteer, would like to read it for you. And
I remember you take that.
The black part, perception. Yeah. And they'll read the blue. So it's kind of like a choral reading. That's something that I do. You could try that sometime. The Herm Edwards is a video. Did you get to see the video? Did that play for you on your computer? Okay. So so why, let me ask you a question. Why do we put videos in our workshops? Why do you think?
It breaks it up. And also you get to see it from the person in themselves.
Exactly. So it breaks it up, gives us credibility, and it gives you a break where, it's not just Shay Wilson telling you to be a positive coach. It's Herm Edwards. Right. So that can be kind of a launching point for discussion. All videos, there can be a discussion afterwards. There can be, think about that. What resonated with you that he said? So make sure that you use the videos to your advantage in a workshop. And I know you just had the paper printout, so you didn't even, show the videos, but just make sure that the videos, we put them in there for a reason. And a lot of times it's funny, you'll do a 2-hour workshop and you'll be, doing everything awesome. And then at the end, the coaches will say the best part of the workshop was the videos. And I'm like, really? All that work I did, you like the videos the best. That's great. But they do. I think they like hearing from other coaches that are saying the same things that you're saying. So I thought that was good. Also, Herm Edwards, and this should be on there, but it's not. Herm Edwards is now the Arizona's head football coach for Arizona State. So if you just want to throw that in there too. That's right. The other tip that I have for you, and something that someone told me years ago, and I think it's really powerful. You are a super high energy person, and I tend to be that way too. So if you're trying to make an impact, like maybe when you get to Elm Tree of Mastery or when you get to filling emotional tanks, dial it down and, talk a little quieter and don't have a smile on your face and be a little slower. That can make a huge impact because there's a lot of trainers that we watch do this and we say, hey, bring up the energy level, raise your voice, get a little crazy. You know, that's usually what we tell people to do.
Right.
But when you're a naturally high energy person, just dialing that back can be really, really powerful. So, you know, you might want to throw that in sometimes if you're telling a story, if you're bringing up a principle, if you're trying to get people to really kind of lean in. Quieting down will help that too. Just to vary it up.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think it's great. I think you're right where you should be. And the more times you do it, the smoother it's going to get. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to send you an intro video of this guy named Pete who did this last week. And the reason I'm showing it to you is because he's probably the smoothest introduction to the workshop person I've ever seen. Like just like butter. I mean, it's like he does it better than any of us do. But what you have is your energy and your just your vibe. Like if I could blend you two together, it would be amazing. But I just want you to see his, and I don't want you to focus on trying to be him, but I just want you to see how smooth he goes from one topic to the other, and how his pace, how he just goes through the pace and he knows what's coming next. And I think it'll just help you kind of watch somebody that does it super smoothly so that you can and with your story rocket. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. Do you have any questions for us?
No, you guys covered everything really. I was a little nervous, but everything that you're saying, I got most of it down. But I absolutely can see all that. And I think if I keep practicing and get the videos and just keep watching, I can get it down. So.
And the best part of this is too, I send you this video so you can watch yourself back, which we all hate to do. But you know, it's a good way for you to watch back and go, wow, where was I a little awkward? Or where did that part? I nailed that part. I mean, really, it's good to see like that part I was really good at. That part I was kind of stumbling through a little bit. That part I maybe went a little too slow. And you hate to watch yourself, but it is really helpful.
And watch the film.
Yeah, it's a game tape, man. You got to go back and review it.
Oh, yeah, I thought I was playing defense, but I really wasn't.
I hope you're playing offense. We need attack on this. So, so the next step is for you to pick one of the principles, and then all the nerves will be out of the way. You know this format. You know how it works. Take your favorite principle, emotional tank, Elm Tree Mastery, honoring the game, whichever one. I'm going to let you do one practice of one of the principles. And then the third one is where you will do it, and we'll get, Trennis on and Spencer and a couple other people on that'll actually be able to watch you to, so you can show them that you're ready to go out and do this live.
Okay. They get to pass me.
Well, it's actually, I'm just the beginning. I just get you ready. They're the ones that Spencer has to pass you.
I know. Spencer, you like donuts, Spencer?
I do. You're getting coming up. We need you though. We got plenty of workshops coming up down your way. So it's
awesome.
We're excited.
Let me keep going. Let me get it straight. I hope to make you guys proud.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job already. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. Take care, Shay. Spencer,
thanks,
thank
Shay.
you
Bye,
for
Kelly.
joining us. Yep.